Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you my make for the Build Your Stash Holiday Card Challenge number 34. Let's get started. To kick things off, I've gone ahead and stamped and die cut images from the Beachy Christmas as well as Mermaid For You, and these are the colors that I will be using to color in today's images. And this is what they look like, all colored up. Next, we're going to go in with the Nighttime Sky Stencil by Fawn, and we are going to use the moon here as the island for the palm tree with the little Christmas lights on them. So I'm going to use my low-tack tape to hold that down, and then I think we'll go in with some full stick Post-it note just to mask off the area of the rectangle that I cut. And then I'm going to go in with some scattered straw to create the island. Now, the panel that I am working on, I used the 4-bar rectangle card to cut out the rectangle that I needed. And then here we are going to go in with some Tumbled Glass and the Cloud Stencil by Fawn. And I'm just going back and forth to give myself variation in the clouds. And then we'll take that all the way down to the island, as that will be the blue sky in our background. Now, I don't go all the way down to the bottom of the panel because the bottom of the panel will be covered up, not colored up. Although, yeah, it would be colored up considering, but this is going to be covered up by another panel. Here I'm just going back in with the stencil that I've got going on, and we're going to mask off the area of the sky, and we're going to go in with some Finetec Pearlescent watercolors, and I will be using Hazel and Rose Gold. Sorry, my Nova in the background. She's a little talkative today. So I've got the Hazel and the Rose Gold, and we're going to do a little bit of splatter to create texture in the sand, so that's what I'm doing. I enjoy using these Finetec Pearlescent watercolors because they're pretty. Next, we are going to use some Salty Ocean, and all I've done is cut down a panel with the same 4-bar card stitched rectangle die, and then I used a Hillside border die to cut out the curve. And once I'm done with the amount of Distress Oxide that I want to use, I am going to go back in with some Pearlescent color, and we are going to use the high Chroma blue as well as the Patina. That will give more of the ocean effect, because in some pictures I've seen of the ocean, it's got like that shimmery patina color or a beautiful blue color, and it's just really pretty. And I like how pretty these guys are. So here I'm going in with that patina, and I just love the color shift in the patina. It is so lovely. So once I've let that set off to dry, I am going to layer everybody up. So all I'm doing here is kind of giving myself an idea of where my layers are going, and I'm going to be using this Let's Toast Pull Tab add-on die, and we are going to create a little scene of an interactive card. So I've taken out the little slot die here on a curve to curve with the ocean, and then we're going to line everybody up here to make sure that I've got enough real estate for that pull tab to move. So I'm going to add some glue to this and glue down all my images where I need them to go. That way I can figure out how far up or down I need to put my little Santa on the surfboard. So I've got that guy hanging off the edge, and I think that's good. And then I'm going to bring in my sun, kind of eyeball where I need everybody to go. And then I think I better start with my Santa to make sure I need to have enough room for him. So we're going to add a little bit of glue to the bottom of his feet here, and we are going to have him on that little surfboard. So I'll grab my reverse tweezers just to kind of give him a little bit of pressure to hold him down, to get him to stick properly. And then we are going to fuss with this pull tab. Now there's some score lines in here. I'm just going to map them out here so you can see them. And that's where we're going to fold. So we're going to fold in, and then again we are going to fold out, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So we'll fold in, and then we will fold out, and then you get that little edge there that sticks together, and that's what we're going to glue our Santa on. But because it's so big, I'm going to need to cut it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some low-tack tape, and we're going to hold that in place. And then that way I can take my Santa and a pencil and kind of rough out where I need to cut on the little pull tab area here. That way you don't see the pull tab on Santa, if you know what I mean. So once I'm satisfied with where I need to cut, I'm going to take that apart there, and then I'm just going to grab my sharp scissors and cut below that line, so that way when I do glue Santa down onto this pull tab, you won't see the pull tab and we can still use the mechanism. So once that's done, we will go back in and see to make sure that this is going to fit properly in the little slot. And this is how the interactive card is going to be made. So we are going to feed that back in, and then we are going to hold it down, make sure everybody's folded, and I'm going to add a little bit of tape. Now this was probably a dumb idea on my part. I probably should have been a little bit more careful, because this would have led to an error, but it all turned out in the end. We got there in the end, as my friend Jordy likes to say. So once we're satisfied with how he lines up, we are going to test him out. So there, I've got enough room, everybody looks good. Make sure he's nice and stuck there. And then we're going to add in the little ocean panel. Now you want to be careful that you don't glue him down underneath the ocean panel, so you got to lift him up there and edge him underneath, and then line up that bottom panel. And then we need to play with it again, make sure that there is enough room for the little guy to move. And once I'm satisfied with it, we are going to put in this little stabilizer. Again, I'm just showing you where the score lines are in this, and then we're going to fold this over, and then we're going to add a little bit of tape here to make sure that this little sleeve fits and sticks properly. So I'll wrap that around the little mechanism, make sure it fits, and then I'll add a little bit more of the sticky tape, so that way I can stick this to the card panel and we won't get that little arm moving around. So once I'm happy with how it lines up, make sure that it will fit, I will tape this down to that edge there. That way it'll keep it stabilized and we'll be able to move it properly. Now I think I probably would have gone, if I were to make this again, I would have used the straight line because I wasn't too keen on how it moved. It was a little finicky to do, so I think if I were to recreate this card, I would have done the straight line instead of the curved line, if you know what I mean. So here I'm just taking a little bit of that Salty Ocean and Tumbled Glass off of my blending brushes so I can have that blue on the little piece right here, and we're going to add a little tick mark there to show where I need to cut off. And then we'll take this guy and we will fold him on the line. There's a score line on this one, and then we'll add a little tape and glue to tape that onto our little moving mechanism so that the recipient knows that this is an interactive card. So once I've got that stuck down, I will go ahead and add in my images. So we've got the little palm tree here, and I'm going to have him hanging off just a little bit off the edge of the panel, and that way it gives it a little bit more interest. And we'll add a little bit of glue. I've gone ahead and mapped out where I don't need the glue because this is hanging off the panel, and then I'll grab my reverse tweezers and then I will just add that guy onto my scene. I really like that palm tree with the little festive lights on it. I wanted to call them jingle lights. My little sister used to call Christmas lights jingle lights when she was little. But we live in North America, well, Southern Ontario, Canada, and our winters are really cold, and the only time you get to see a palm tree here is if it's in an indoor setting because it is so cold. And I think the last time I saw a palm tree in real life outside was probably the last time I went down to Mississippi to visit my uncle. We had gone to Biloxi, Mississippi to hang out on the Gulf Coast for the day, and it was like a big family event. I had a bunch of relatives come down and hang out because I was down visiting from Canada, and it was really nice and warm, and the weather was perfect. But yeah, it's always really neat to see other native species of plants and stuff in different parts of the world. Well, North America anyway, I should say, because I've never been outside of North America. And all we're doing here is adding a little bit of foam tape to the back side of the panel to give the moving mechanism a little bit more wiggle room. So once I've avoided the mechanism completely with the foam strips, I'm going to pull out my card base panel, which is the Yornex Stamp Holiday Joy 6x6 paper pad, and make sure that everything works out fine. So while I'm finishing off the final touches to my card, I should probably take a minute to let you know what this card is all about. The Build Your Stash Holiday Card Sketch Challenge number 34 is a challenge that will last the entire month of June. You get to pull out your Christmas, winter, holiday stamps and goodies and build your stash of holiday projects for 2023. To enter the challenge, all you have to do is head over to the Facebook link that I've left in the description box below and post a picture of your holiday make in the album marked BYSHC Sketch 34. Enter as many projects as you like. You can even use the hashtag that I have in the title of this video, BYSHC Sketch Challenge 34, in any of your social media posts. But for your entry to count, please head over to the album in the Facebook group. The winner will be announced randomly chosen from all entries posted prior to 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, June 30th, and the winner will receive a fun package of Christmas craft goodies. So yeah, head over to the Build Your Stash Holiday Card Challenge Facebook group. If you haven't yet, go ahead and join in. It's a lot of fun to be able to have a challenge every month of the sketches. I know this is something kind of out of my element because I am more of a scene builder, but to incorporate scene and card layouts, that is new to me, and I'm really loving it, as this is, I think, my third project for the design team. And yes, this is a design team project, so I had to get this cracking beforehand to kind of figure out what it was that I wanted to do and how I could incorporate interactive to the sketch layout, and that was a fun challenge. So I couldn't resist having a beachy Christmas because not all Christmases are cold and miserable and frosty. You know, some of them are actually sun-drenched and sand in between the toes and lots of sun and sunscreen. So that was the whole idea behind this, was to incorporate sun and fun and winter fun into one, because winter fun is Santa to me, and even though it's not cold down there, you know what I mean. I'm rambling. So to give some finger space to this, I probably should have done this first, but I didn't think to. I'm going to be carefully die cutting that. I had to use like a partial die cut technique just to get that going. And once that's done, it's time to add a sentiment. So from the Beachy Christmas, I have just stamped out on some thick cardstock Merry Beachy Christmas, and I am going to fussy cut out the sentiment into kind of a bubbly idea here. And I will go ahead and glue that on. So once I've cut this out, and I'm happy because I hate fussy cutting. You guys know that. I'll be able to glue this down. So I'm going to add some glue, but then I think I need a little bit of foam tape to be able to have that edge not bend over, because there is some height to this panel. So we are going to cut a little piece of foam tape here, and we are going to add it to the base card base panel here, so that way it doesn't slump down or hang over. I probably should have done that to the fish too, but I didn't think to, so we're just going to do it here. I mean, if you recreate this card, you might want to add a little bit of foam tape to the edges. So once that's done, my card is complete. I really hope you enjoyed my make for the Build Your Stash Holiday Card Challenge number 34, and I do encourage you to join in. And if you found this video entertaining, please give it a like and a subscribe. And as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Take care.